Hello and welcome to the Kaiju is in the Details. We watched another Yeti movie. Yay. This one was called The Half Human. The Half Human by Ishiro Honda from 1955. Haru, what did you think of this movie?
So two things.
One, it's bad. Two, it's bad. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, no. Well, actually, I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Really?
Except it was way too long and didn't need to be as long as it was, which ruined my enjoyment of it.
That's funny because the American version is like 30 minutes shorter, but it's going to add a lot of bullshit. So apparently it's going to be a worse version of the film. And we'll be watching that next time, apparently.
But, yeah, so, the thing is, I didn't hate, so the plot was kind of hard, it was kind of all over the place and dragged on. But, the actual, way the movie presented itself just really drew me in, I guess.
I could see that. And it's definitely better made than a lot of the other movies we've run into, especially the last Yeti film we watched.
Mm-hmm.
This is featuring a lot of the same people from Godzilla, the original Godzilla. We have Ishiro Honda directing. We have Eiji Tsuburaya on effects, and they do look quite nice for the most part. We have a lot of the same actors. Our leading man and leading lady are the same as Godzilla. Fucking Ogata and Emiko are here.
You'd love to see that.
Godzilla himself was here as well. Haru Nakajima was one of the search party members.
Ooh.
And he played Godzilla in most of the Godzilla films. Additionally, King Ghidorah was here as well.
Oh.
Shoichi Hirose was also part of the guys that left early on in the film, and he played King Ghidorah and King Kong. The old man from the village. Guess what? He's the old man from the other village in Godzilla.
Oh.
The one who's talking about Godzilla, the Legends of Gojira. So he's a little typecast, I guess.
Yeah. So what I'm gathering is Ishiro Honda actually doesn't know that many people.
Well, Toho Studios has a stable of actors that they used for a lot of films. Is more the answer.
Very fair. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense, actually. It's like how Disney has the same actors for everything.
Yeah. Also, the villain, Oba, was played by a guy we're going to see a lot in Godzilla films to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yoshio Kusugi. That's about it as far as really recognizable people. We'll see Chika again in Godzilla vs. King Kong, but that's about it. But yeah, as far as big names, we got Akira Takarada, Ogata from Godzilla, and I believe he'll be in several other Godzilla films as well. Yeah, he will be. We'll be seeing him quite a bit. And Momoko Kochi as who played Emiko in Godzilla, here as Machiko Takano, who we'll only ever see as Emiko, actually. She doesn't appear in Godzilla films again until she reprises the Emiko role in Godzilla vs. Destroyer. But yeah, I think that's the most interesting part of the movie, is how much of the cast and crew were from Godzilla. Even the writer. There was the screenplay is by Takeo Murata, who also did work for Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course a lot of the other people in the film are people who have worked with Kurosawa. So it's you're either Godzilla alumni or you're people who would go on to work with Kurosawa. Because again, there's one stable of actors in Japan that everyone draws from.
Yeah.
By the way, folks, I'm recovering from a cold, so if I'm a little wheezy or coughing, please forgive.
And I am also recovering from a cold. If I'm sniffly, that's why.
I'll try to edit all that out, but you know, the wheezing will just come as it. Yeah. As it may. I didn't like this film. Apparently, you liked it more than I did. I get what you're saying, but I still didn't like it.
So, like, here's the reason why I say that I like it. Like, so I like the build up of like the you know, the college students go missing, and there's like all this tension as they're trying to track down their friends, and then they have the whole search party. Like, I kind of liked the progression of that tension. Like, I felt the tension.
I didn't. I felt like there was a bit of a disjointedness to the way it was structured. I didn't even realize that Chica was the same woman from the cabin in the beginning of the movie until like I saw it on Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah, no, I kind of gathered that from like, and like, even though I sort of lost the plot halfway through the movie, and then I regained it.
I kept losing the plot several times through the movie. I feel like
that's kind of where I was at too.
There's some
like,
disconnects
there, but like, I still, and this is saying something, because when it comes to older movies like this, all the characters look the same to me.
Especially with the quality we were watching at. Like, this has not been a well preserved film. We'll get into that.
But there was just something about her like behavior and her mannerism that made her stand out from like the moment we met her to the end of the movie, that made me be like, oh yeah, no, this is the same person.
See, I had the same thing with the other girl, because she's Emiko from Godzilla.
Yeah.
I was like, is that Emiko from Godzilla? Every time I saw her. Didn't have the same thing for Ogata from Godzilla, but the leading men kind of all look the same.
Yeah.
They just have a face for it, a certain jawline, the brow structure.
Unless, like, basically, unless you're just a really old dude with long white hair and a beard, you're just all the same face. Oh, and the guy with glasses. But yeah, no. So yeah, going back to like the things that I liked about it, like the way. So the reason I like, one thing that I think really helped add to the tension of the moments that were supposed to be tense was the music. Like,
the music is good.
There were a lot of, so first there were lots of moments of just silence, like not any music in the background whatsoever. And then there were other scenes where there was just this little subtle drum beat in the background. Like,
that's something Honda is really strong with, is knowing when to, and like getting his musicians to like make things quiet or quieter in some places. Yeah, I definitely appreciated that. Like I said, I think this is probably one of the better films that we've watched that I did not like, but I still didn't quite like it. I just feel it really is this issue of like not quite connecting with the film, and also I have a lot of issues with the village, the little village in the mountains, and the way it's portrayed.
Yeah, so
it really plays into like old school Japanese nationalist ideas of like everyone outside of Japan is like a one-eyed barbarian and they eat people and they're like cannibals.
Yeah, that's what I got from the village too, is that it was just a lot of like Japanese type racism.
It's Japanese type racism, exactly. Literally every single person in the village except for Chika is like wearing these weird prosthetics and like makeup to make them look dirty and ugly.
Yeah.
Like they're supposed to be like cyclopean monsters.
like like partway through the movie, when I kind of lost track of where we were even with the plot, I basically, like, just based on how the villagers looked, I thought they were like supposed to be blood related to the
mountain lord,
the abominable snowman, because like, you know, they looked they looked human, but not 100%. And so I'm like, oh, maybe they're like half-breeds or something. And that's what the Japanese government wants me to think.
Yeah. And I thought that it's like, oh, they're all dirty and stuff like that because they're enslaved by the Oba guy, like that evil animal trader guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought that's what the deal was. It was going to be like a story of them being freed. No, these people are also horrible. They're just horrible in their own way.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be on their side, and then they just started abusing women.
Oh my god. The violence against women in this film is insane. Say it with me. This movie hates women. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's genuinely, like, I think this might be the most sexist movie we've watched.
That's saying something.
That is saying something. Holy shit. But like the actual, like, on screen, a woman being caned, like, folks, it is bad. If you have trauma associated with like sexist violence, don't watch this movie.
Yeah, like,
genuinely.
Like, she just goes up to the guy, and she's like, you know, just asking him something, and he's like, how dare you interrupt me, and throws her to the ground and wails on her. Like,
so Chika brings in a student from the party because that student gets beat up by the evil animal traders who want the snowman for themselves, and so they decide to like kidnap and beat up and throw into a valley a student, and they think they'll just get away with that for some reason. Very dumb plan. Anyways, they do that. She saves the guy, and then the villagers are like, well, you know the rules. You can't have outsiders here. Now I'm gonna beat you to death with a cane.
Yeah.
She comes. She like these. They're like, okay, bring this offering to the mountain lord. They call the Yeti the mountain lord, or the master. And when by the time she comes back, the villagers have like taken the student who's Ogata from Godzilla, and they have hung him off the side of a cliff. They like hog-tied him and hung him off the side of a cliff for some reason. And when she comes back, she's like, what'd you do with him? And then the old man is like, I'm going to beat you to death. And he almost does. Eventually he stops beating her with a cane, but then later she ends up trading the location of the snowman to the animal traders for a ring by just to get access to the, like, she wants to meet more outsiders because her village is terrible. And she ends up taking a ring so that she, like, it's a promise to come back to them. That's what the ring represents. And they like fucking beat her to death to try and get to the ring, to like show, like, reveal that she traded the info.
Yeah.
This movie fucking hates women. And then of course Emiko gets fucking kidnapped by the Yeti for no reason.
Yeah.
Because Yetis like women. Yetis like human women. We've learned this.
Yep. I going back to what you mentioned about where they hogtied the student and gave him up as an offering. Like, I want to talk about that scene real quick, because like when he was hanging over the cliff, first of all, were you paying attention to those bird effects?
Yeah, they were terrible. They were awful. What the fuck?
Those birds were not moving like birds at all. I don't know what they thought they were doing with that. But then, and this was, I think, the best scene in the entire movie. Like, the Yeti guy just finds him hanging over the cliff, pulls him up by the rope, and unties him and lets him go.
He's like very casual. He hunted a deer and he's carrying the deer to his lair, and he just like puts the deer down, helps the kid up, unties him, and then puts the deer back on his shoulders and walks away.
Yeah.
It's super cash. Like, what the fuck?
Like, that was so unexpected, and honestly, I think it was the best scene in the entire movie.
It's pretty good. It's really funny. Yeah. Movie.
Yeah. So it seems to be a slight change of subject here. It seems to be like a common trope in specifically movies that involve monkeys or monkey adjacent creatures, where someone involved with a circus or some kind of show wants to capture them and take them away to the circus. Because, like, that's basically what happened with King Kong. It's basically what happened with Mighty Joe Young. And then I actually don't even remember the plot of the snow creature. But
they were taking it back to examine it, so no circus.
Yeah, that was a science thingy.
That was a science thing.
And then this time again, we have people trying to steal away some monkey adjacent creature to the circus. And I think the plot of the plot of this one, at least, is that the circus is evil.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because Oba is an interesting character, not insofar as the movie exists, but as for why the movie doesn't exist in a very well preserved format. You see, Oba is part of the Burakumin. You know about this, right, Haru?
The name sounds super familiar. Remind me what it is again?
So the Burakumin are a social group from the feudal era of Japan, which is like related to, okay, so in the feudal era of Japan, particularly after Hideyoshi did his reforms, people were locked into inherited classes.
Yeah.
And the Burakumin are one of the lowest classes of all.
Right.
And they do things dealing with death, like executions, grave digging, slaughterhouse working, and butchering and tanning. Which I think is what this animal trapping business kind of falls under. And because of that, Honda biographers have theorized that the reason why this film has not been released really outside of its original run and maybe a couple of TV runs is that it's to avoid backlash from Burakumin rights groups like Buraku Liberation League or Zairaku? Blanking on the other one, but yeah, it's a bit of a thing.
That's interesting.
Zenkairen. There we go. Zenkairen.
Uh-huh.
The difference between the two, by the way, is that the Buraku Liberation League are like really insular and kind of just do their own, like they don't want to extend the benefits of the that they're looking for to anyone who isn't part of the league, whereas Zenkairen are affiliated with the Japanese Communist Party and are trying to get it for everyone.
Pretty based.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a social class issue, but it's not just a social class, it's kind of a social caste, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like a huge deal.
Mhm.
And it is very potentially why we don't have a good quality version of this.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. But you know,
Yeah.
I think the character itself is just kind of boring.
Yeah.
It's he's kind of a prototype for an actually very common trope in Ishiro Honda's kaiju films of the businessman who is just trying to make money off of the monster. But I feel like it's just not quite refined here. We're going to see a much better version of this in King Kong versus Godzilla, and also a much better version of this in Mothra versus Godzilla, which are also going to have some unfortunate depictions of minorities within Japanese society.
Yay.
But not Barakubin this time. It'll be like the random islands that Japan colonized during the war instead. The Mothra Islanders and the Kong Islanders. It's the same problem we had with King Kong, you know? It's going to be that kind of deal, except from a Japanese perspective.
Yeah. Yay.
So it's going to be Japanese people doing yellow face instead of white people. And it feels weird to say Japanese people doing yellow face, but like it's basically what it is. Or I guess more brown face, but like
yeah, like
the thing of the matter is that Japan is like the most racist Asian power, Asian country, on the planet.
Like they genuinely like don't like Koreans. They don't like Chinese people. They don't like They don't like any indigenous people at all that are in.
If you've ever played the fucking the Yakuza games, full of anti-Korean sentiment. Holy shit, dude.
And
granted, that's going to be the case if you're playing a game where the Yakuza are like protagonists. Right?
Yeah.
Because the Yakuza are a deeply fascist organization. The Yakuza were like producing fucking amphetamines in Korean slave labor factories during the war.
Yeah.
And the government let them do that as long as they got a cut.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really seems like when Japan was building itself up to be a contender as a world superpower, they were like, you know what all the Western countries do that make them so much better than everyone else? They're racist.
Yamato nationalism is a crazy drug.
Yeah.
It's even in this, like with this movie, like we have racism against random mountain peoples, mountain villagers who are probably closer related to the people who were there before the Yayoi people arrived. So like the people who are more closely related to the Ainu, who lived in the Japan, like the main island that we consider Japan, but were related to the Ainu in Hokkaido before the Yayoi arrived, and the Yayoi assimilated them, but also genocided them. Yeah, they did a little bit of both. So they're probably closer related to that group. Because they're this isolated village in the island or in the mountains of Japan. By the way, they never say which mountains, just some mountains. They could very well be in Hokkaido even.
Yeah.
And then they're also being racist against the Barakumen, who are literally ethnic Japanese.
Yeah.
Like they're they're racist against their own people who are just a different social class,
Yeah.
but like they treat it like a race. Like, it's not just a classism thing; it's like a literal like racism thing.
Yeah. I mean,
It's classism
it,
that's treated as racism, right?
yeah. It's mostly just classism, but it's like the characters are a caricature of the class that they're supposed to be representing.
I mean,
And,
to a there's a large degree to which like a lot of racism is also classism. But
yeah,
we don't
there's
have
a
time
lot
to get
of
into
overlap.
that. Yeah, and same with sexism too. I mean,
Yep.
like this movie it has the trifecta. It
Mm-hmm.
has the triforce of isms.
Yeah, we've got classism, racism, and sexism, and
And you might be wondering, where's homophobia? Well, homophobia is under the umbrella of sexism.
yep, and classism,
Yeah,
but mainly sexism, but also
yeah.
classism.
It's it's not Ishiro Honda's best work. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably one of his weaker films. I've never seen The Pearl Divers though. That could be weaker. I don't know.
I,
I have seen a lot of his later films,
yeah,
including the ones that aren't like giant monster ones, like Matango, which we are going to be watching. Because like if this movie counts, then surely Matango counts. Matango is a much stranger creature than this.
that said, though, I still stand by my initial statement that I kind of enjoyed this one.
Like I said, I could see it. It's just like I feel like there's like good bones here.
Yeah,
I just feel like the meat on the bones ain't right.
uh-huh,
You know?
yeah, yeah, like that honestly might be it, is that it's got the structure, it's got the foundational structure of an Ishiro Honda,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's got all the talent, or not most of the talent of Godzilla,
yeah, and
but not
but
put
like
together
the
right.
actual like writing and the way the characters are portrayed is maybe leaves a lot to be desired.
It's like Victorian fossil reconstructions.
Yeah.
They took all the bones that were right and put them in the wrong place.
Yeah. And it's but yeah, maybe it is because of that foundational groundwork of there being that strong like central structure to just the way the story is delivered to us that makes it so much more engaging for me to watch any any of the bullshit American films we've watched so far.
It's got a good director, it's got good musician, it's got a good writer, it's got good actors. Like everything is like there to make a good film, and there's like sometimes where the chemistry comes through. I feel like part of the problem, and this is part of the problem here, is that they had to stop development on the film for a while,
Mm.
because Eiji Tsuburaya was busy. Honda shot the snow, like went to Tokyo to shoot the snow scenes,
Mm-hmm.
and then came back and found out that Eiji Tsuburaya was busy with Godzilla raids again, and so then Half Human was put on hold while Honda went and filmed another film. And so this film kind of got interrupted partway through, and I wonder if that's part of the problem with the disjointedness.
That could be it, yeah. Like,
Just that break in production kind of
yeah.
fucked it up.
And like I can definitely see that, because just I've written things in the past that, and I'm assuming maybe like the script of this was finished, at least it was just the directing part that needed to be, like the acting and recording the scenes that needed to be done. But like even then, like even if the script is fully written, if you stop performing a story partway through and then come back to it like months or years later, you're not going to be in the exact same mindset as you were that first time.
interesting thing on that, Takeo Murata was working on the script for this movie, or the screenplay, I should say, for this movie, at the
Mm-hmm.
same time he was working on Godzilla Raids Again. So
Oh.
I feel like he may have been a little bit distracted.
Yeah. And I also have a feeling that Godzilla Raids Again probably took priority. Like this was
Yeah, almost certainly.
this one was Half Human was like a side project. Like
Yeah.
we have some free time.
Well,
let's fill this in with
this
like
movie was
another
actually
story.
already planned. This movie was like planned before Godzilla, the original Godzilla, had even been released.
Oh yeah.
They're like, okay, so the Godzilla movie is going to come out, and then Honda's going to have this Half Human movie come out after that.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Godzilla movie was a big success, and they rushed Godzilla Raids Again into production. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's how it took priority, in that it needed to get done right away. It was like, we need to cash in on this success right now. I think if Godzilla Raids Again had been put off until after they were done with Half Human, both movies would have been a little stronger, perhaps.
Yeah, I could see that, because Godzilla Raids Again needed to be a little bit less of a cash grab, and this movie needed to be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, it needed to have everyone's full attention. But that still wouldn't have fixed some of the issues with it. The women hating issues. Again, I've never seen a movie this violently sexist that wasn't an exploitation film.
Yeah, like we've seen some pretty sexist movies up to this point, but like
we watched American sci-fi films of the 50s. Of course we have.
Yeah, but like, oh my god, I don't think any of them depicted like direct like women being beaten. Like,
I don't think any of them had like a woman being slapped.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think, like a slapping would maybe be like the most any of them would have had, and even then
we've had
think
kidnappings.
Of one. Yeah,
women have been kidnapped several times.
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
About it.
Like that, like the kidnappings have been here since the very beginning of the series.
Yeah, the very first King Kong had a woman being kidnapped by native peoples. And there's this fascination in all these movies. A fascination in all these movies of indigenous people and apes, which they kind of see as one and the same in a lot of ways. Kidnapping women, there's an extreme fascination with that. The brute coming to steal your woman, you know.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a common theme.
It's almost like it goes all the way back to fucking Birth of a Nation.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I think this is like one of the tougher episodes we've had, because this movie is so much better made than a lot of the like garbage we've watched in the past, but features some pretty vile stuff in it.
Yeah, it's so like one thing, kind of going back to talking about how various characters are written. Like the Yetis seemed pretty sympathetic to me, except for a few points when the movie decided to make it less sympathetic, like when it just decided to randomly kidnap a woman.
Yeah, or like randomly grope a woman for no reason.
Yeah.
Like when they're in the camp and it just like comes in and just like gropes her face for no reason.
Yeah, because like up until then, it's just like, or like the times in between then, it's like, you know, it's just this sort of lost creature that's probably
generally pretty affable.
Yeah, like probably one of the last of its kind. I mean, going back again to that scene where it just rescues that guy that's hanging over the cliff, it's like,
yeah,
this is a pretty chill creature that doesn't actually hate
crazy
humans, and humans are fearful of it and want to hurt it and kill it and capture it.
I can't stress this enough. This Yeti saves the kid or the student. He's not really a kid. He's just a student. As casually as like you would say hi to your neighbor walking out the door.
Yeah. Or like I would say it's like if you see like an old lady struggling with her groceries and you stop and help her put her groceries in her car and then go on about your day. That's what happened.
This thing has a very human level of intelligence to just be like that. And like, have a human level of intelligence and compassion, right?
Yeah.
But then like its son gets killed by the fucking animal traders. And it goes on a rampage on them, which makes sense. And then it goes to the village and does a rampage on them, which like makes a lot less sense. And then it goes to the camp for some reason and steals the woman, which makes no sense at all. Unless, like I joked to Haru, it's intending to make a new kid.
Yeah. So
which is the only thing I could figure.
Yeah, so like the rampage on the village, I can like
it doesn't quite know what's going on. It's just attacking humans.
Yeah, like, and that's a tricky, like, because if the Yeti is as intelligent as the movie tried to depict when he rescued that guy, clearly the Yeti knows the difference between like a good person and a bad person, or like clearly the Yeti can distinguish between like, you know, what is a threat and what's not a threat at the very least. But then its son gets killed, and like you could probably argue that there's a degree of just like blind rage, like you know, it's just not thinking clearly, so it just needs to take out its anger. But at the same time, it's kind of discounting its intelligence, and I don't know. It's tragic.
Yeah. I think the weird part, though, is the kidnapping of the woman.
Yeah.
That part doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And what really doesn't make any sense is the groping of the woman earlier, before any of that happens.
Yeah. Like, it's really
it's just a weird pattern.
Really, the only explanation for that is the movie's sexism.
Yeah. And racism. Against Yetis.
Yeah.
Yeti racist. Speaking of the Yeti, though, this costume looks incredible.
Yeah.
This is a really, really good costume.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Which is going to be really... It's really surprising to me. Because King Kong's costume in Godzilla vs. King Kong does not look good. So how did they get it so right here? And then fuck it up with King Kong? I think part of it is just that the Yeti has a more humanoid face.
Yeah, that could be it.
So I think that helps a lot. I think it's very possible that it's not even like a full mask, but instead makeup on a face and prosthetics. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah, I would have to take a closer look at it through preferably better visual quality, but
then like if you go look at the poster for this movie, the costume that's in the poster looks like the fucking King Kong costume. So maybe it's just the black and white that helps disguise it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a poster where it actually looks like... Okay, Haru, I'm going to send you... I'm sorry to the audience, but there's a couple different posters here. You're not going to be able to see them. I'm sending them to Haru to be like, look at this shit. So here's the poster I just found that looks more like the one we saw in the movie, right? That's the guy we saw in the movie.
Yeah.
And that's almost, like, looking at it, I think that is just prosthetics. Not a mask. A lot of prosthetics, but still. Versus, here's the poster I'm seeing on, like, Wikipedia and all that. That's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have his beard or his eyebrows.
Huh.
The Yeti from the movie kind of has a little bit of like a Fu Manchu goatee going on.
I wonder what the context is between these two posters, like what, like when they were made in relation to the movie.
Yeah, I don't know, because it looks like it's the original poster for the movie.
Because like,
but here's another one.
Like the first poster you sent me, I'm basically seeing like
it looks like a picture from the movie, but colorized and cut out.
Yeah.
And then there's like two dogs, three dogs underneath it, or are they bears?
Those are bears, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, and then up at the top, you can see the guy dangling from the mountain.
Yep, that's what I was noticing too. I'm like, it kind of seems like it's depicting scenes from the movie, but no, it's not, because like, I have no idea what the context for this poster is.
And then the second one has like this fake ass version of the Yeti. It has Emiko, and it has like a guy with a gun, and I can't tell if that's Ogata or if it's one of the hunters, the trappers.
Yeah, I can't tell either.
And you can see my confusion about why I thought this was going to be a giant monster movie based on this poster, though, right?
Yeah.
It looks like a giant monster movie.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that third poster, he's in like the pose from when he like is going to fight. He was in like that like an actual martial arts pose, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got his son with him too. But also, neither of them look like they do in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the son does, because the baby Yeti looks really bad. Considering how good the adult Yeti looks, the baby Yeti looks shockingly bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, the baby... even in the movie, honestly, the baby Yeti...
That's what I'm saying, yeah, in the movie.
Yeah, just... yeah. I don't have anything else to add to that. Also, going back to talking about the size of the Yeti, like, it's making me question again if this movie even really qualifies as a kaiju movie. By the literal definition, it does. And by the structural definition of like how kaiju films are presented, it fits.
Yeah, it's very Ishiro Honda, surprisingly enough.
It's just really the technical definition of like, it's not really
a giant monster.
Yeah, like when you say kaiju, most people think giant monster, and like, even though technically that doesn't have to be the case, that's usually the case.
Yeah.
But even if it's not, even if it doesn't quite 100% fit the definition, I still think it's a worthy inclusion just for the Godzilla actors and for Ishiro Honda.
Like, I think literally a movie like this, like, it's still a monster movie that has a lot of the Godzilla stable of actors, has Ishiro Honda, has the some of the writers and musicians. I think it fits.
Yeah.
Which is why we're also going to be watching Matango, which is in a similar box. Ishiro Honda directed, lots of Godzilla actors, no giant monsters, but still monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be doing that much later. It's a later film. But yeah, as for this one, I definitely thought there was going to be a giant monster in here. I think I would have put it on here anyways, even though there's not one. If I had known there was not one, I would have put it on anyways, because of the this evolution of Ishiro Honda's oeuvre, and like how the influence this is going to have on some of his future projects, like I told about with the development of this greedy businessman character that he'll use quite frequently. But it is a rough one. It's a really rough one.
Yeah.
Both in like structure and in how hard it is to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Burakumin writes, am I right?
Yeah.
The poster that has the Yeti that looks nothing like the Yeti in the movie is probably gonna be the one I use for the YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the one that's the right size. It's not very representative, I don't feel. Because it has Chika instead of Emiko, who's like Emiko's like the leading lady. Chika is like, I guess, an important character because she's the one that kind of does the plot, but she's weirdly not treated like an important character. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the movie's like kind of all over the place and it makes it hard to pin down who's an important character and who's not. Or like a leading character, I should say, not an important character. She's obviously an important character because she does stuff. But,
yeah.
A leading character, right?
Yeah, because, again, the movie's kind of all over the place and a little bit hard to follow at times.
Yeah. Which is surely only going to get worse when you cut out 30 minutes of it and then start adding your own footage.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what we'll be watching next time with the American cut of Half Human.
I am very curious to see how the story flows in the American cut.
Yeah, everyone says it sucks on Wikipedia. Like all the reviews that they put in. You know how Wikipedia will put in the reviews for movies, like the critical reception?
Uh-huh.
Everyone says the American version sucks there, so it was good tidings.
Yay.
It's got John Carradine in it, so it's probably pretty cheap. John Carradine is a very famous horror actor, usually in very cheap horror films. But that'll be the 1957 recut of Half Human, not the 1958 one, which apparently exists, which I just found out while we were finding good. I was trying to find a better quality version of this movie because, again, it's not in good shape. And I ended up finding out there's a 1958 version of the film that is colorized.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll probably just like take a couple looks at what the colorization looks like, and talk about that in the next episode. I don't want to watch this movie 3 times.
Yeah.
This isn't fucking Godzilla. Come on. Give me a fucking break, right?
Yeah.
After Half Human, though, we're back to American sci-fi slop with Tarantula. And then we get to do The Beast of Hollow Mountain. I'm excited about that one. That one's a fun one.
Honestly, I'm excited for Tarantula.
Are you?
Yeah, just based on the name. I'm curious to see how they do a spider movie.
Every time we watch just a 50s American sci-fi movie in this podcast, it has been miserable.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it. It is really interesting though, the comparison between these American and Japanese kaiju films. The American ones feel like sci-fi films. The Japanese ones feel like quote unquote kaiju film.
Yeah.
There's like a structural difference between the two. A vibes difference.
Yeah.
And it's not just like Thing Japan either. It is like an actual. There is the way in which they structure the film is different.
They're like one of the most obvious differences is just the difference in narration. Like the American films feel like they need to tell so much more, and the Japanese films just kind of let the film tell itself.
And the Japanese films are quiet ever.
Yeah.
They let things be quiet. The kaiju films are like artistic in nature.
Mm-hmm.
The Japanese kaiju films. Whereas the American sci-fi films are just like spectacle.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. But
that's a really good way of putting like the more traditional style kaiju films they embrace the power of subtlety.
Mm-hmm.
And
The American
the
ones
American
refuse
films,
to be subtle because you might lose your attention.
Yeah, the American films are very generically American in that they have to project as much stimulation as possible for fear that you might not pay attention to it.
It's 1950s brain rot. This is TikTok before there was TikTok.
Oh my god, you're so right.
It's not good, folks. But I'm a little worried Tarantula will be like that. But once we get past Tarantula, we're in 1956, baby, and we got some interesting stuff going on in 1956. Beast of Hollow Mountain, which I think is not like that, actually. Beast of Hollow Mountain is actually a really fun film, in my opinion. A little racist, but it's the 50s.
Yeah.
And then we get Rodan, one of my favorites. Rodan's my favorite kaiju.
I look forward to seeing it.
And I think actually, unless Tarantula is in color, I think Beast of Hollow Mountain is going to be our first color film. So look forward to that. But first, we got to get through the American cut of Half Human. Anything else to say about this film? Oh, themes. I guess we didn't really talk about themes, right?
There was a little bit that we talked
it's just
about,
the fucking
but
King Kong story again.
Yeah,
it's just King Kong again.
It's just the same old themes. This time with a Japanese twist on it, though. You know,
it's King Kong, but they didn't succeed in doing the King Kong thing. They got fucked up before they could actually do a King Kong.
Yeah, like it's similar, like man versus nature, man versus man, man versus self. Like
there was a monkey in the movie.
There was
like a real monkey. Did you notice those skiing effects towards the beginning of the film where they had just them standing there?
Yeah,
or, like pretending to ski, and they had the rear projection of just blurriness.
Yeah, that honestly, it was a little bit lazy, but it was also kind of cute.
Yeah. You know what? I just had an epiphany as to I think part of the reason why this film felt disjointed. We didn't mention this. The whole film is told in flashback.
Yeah.
It's got this weird framing device of a reporter asking them about their adventure after they came back.
Mm-hmm.
That serves no purpose really, other than to frame the movie, and it kind of is distracting and weird.
Yeah, we've watched a few movies that start kind of in the middle or towards the end. Like the American cut of Godzilla starts right after the attack on Tokyo. And that worked.
Mm-hmm.
That gave us a build up to something to look forward to, I guess. And in this movie it didn't seem to serve any purpose at all except for the writers didn't know how to open the story.
Yeah. The only good thing that comes of it is that the reporter drops his coat on the remains of the dead guy.
Mm-hmm.
Which was extremely funny. He just because the reporter walks in, is like, "Hey, you guys are the students from whatever. I want to do a story on you," and he takes off his coat and drops it on a box. And the box is the fucking remains of their dead friend or brother in some cases. Some of these people, it was their brother. Incredible bit. It's just incredibly funny. But that's the only thing that comes of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of the dead guy, that guy, he was saved by the Mountain Lord, but he didn't have the strength to eat. So he died.
Yeah.
But he did have the strength to write in his journal about how he didn't have the strength to eat. Like, not to CinemaSins ding this movie, but like, ding, 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 what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, we might have to do some math calculations here on how many calories you have to burn to write out your memoir in compared to having to pick up food and eat it.
Yeah. I'm looking through my notes to see if I have any last things. The dummies in this movie are great. I love the dummies they have of the actors, for like when they throw them off a mountain,
Yeah.
or when the Yeti is like swinging them around while carrying them.
I liked the ragdoll.
They're so good. Oh my god, they're so cute. Also, the reason why there's only one Yeti and his son is that apparently all the other Yetis ate the poisonous mushrooms.
Yeah.
How did these Yetis exist as a species if they didn't know how to not eat the poisonous mushrooms?
Yeah, it's
Only one of them knew not to? Like, are you kidding me?
it's an incredibly dumb plot point.
They wanted it to be only one guy left, and that's what they came up with.
Like they couldn't have come up with. I mean, they were already racist against like the mountain village people. Maybe they could have come up with some plot reason why they're responsible.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have had more excuses to treat Chica like dog shit. She dies, by the way, folks.
Yeah.
She like sacrifices herself to save Emiko, and she like falls with the Yeti into boiling spring water.
Yeah. Say it again. This movie hates women.
Movie hates women. It hates them so much, and Chica specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, Chica's. Yeah, which is a shame because I liked her.
Yeah, but the movie doesn't seem to, because like not only is she treated like shit by the villagers, not only does she die at the end, but it's kind of her fault a little bit. She does reveal the location of the Yeti. She does like harbor the so it turns out the villagers were right to be like, don't bring the outsiders in. Kinda. And it's like, I don't like that. I don't think that's good. Ishiro Honda, well, he didn't write it. Unlike Godzilla, as far as I could tell, he didn't have a huge hand in the creation of the plot of this film. But like, come on, guys, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's everything I've got. Oh, the terrible old man does die though, which is nice.
Yeah, he does.
Oh wait, I have one more thing. Everyone in this movie screams like fucking Tom and Jerry. Did you notice that? They kept going like, ah!
I did not, but
like it was fucking
what?
Tom and Jerry shit.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
They should be running around hitting each other with fucking frying pans. All right. I think that's it from us. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you, each and every one of you. Give a like, give a share, give a comment down below in the YouTube. If you're watching this or listening to this outside of YouTube, of course, share it around with your friends. And, give us a rating on your podcast app of choice. That kind of stuff really helps spread the word and get us out to other people who could also enjoy us. Haru, where can people find you?
I am Haru Hayes. You can find me on twitch.tv/Haru Hayes, where I stream sometimes. And you can also find me on Blue Sky at haru.vspire.live. I'm mainly active on those two places if you want to keep up with me and when I'm, make other make content, which usually is just streaming. Yeah, and recently I've been giving a try at having a stream schedule, so if you're ever interested in catching one of my streams and don't know when I stream or when I plan to stream, definitely go follow my Blue Sky and check the pinned post.
Mm-hmm. And I am Thempire Ian. You can find me at Thempire Ian generally everywhere. Tomb of Thempire Ian is my secondary YouTube channel where you can find my Let's Plays and VODs. The main channel is for video essays of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Variety. And my tertiary channel, Thempod Ian, is where you can find this very podcast, in addition to any other podcast I happen to do. I'm going to be starting to do more Twitch streaming in the near future, hopefully, once this cough is gone. So make sure to be following me on Twitch so you can catch all those streams. I think we're ready to say sayonara to the abominable snowman, the mountain lord. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Sayonara, abominable snowman.
Sayonara, abominable snowman.
That was a bit of a tongue twister, huh?
It is.
Well, we'll have to say it again next time. Maybe we'll do Mountain Lord next time.